I know I'm late to the game on this, but with all the negativity surrounding the trailer for Superman Legacy, or simply Superman as it is now known, I decided to inject a little bit of cautious optimism into the conversation.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the
Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast and consider becoming a channel member. During the week of Christmas 2024, James Gunn released the trailer for Superman, previously titled Superman Legacy. It is his restart for the DC Extended Universe, which is the original title for the film franchise about the DC comic superheroes such as Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And he has retooled it along with his co chair of DC Studios or DC Films, whatever it's called, Peter Safran, and they are calling it simply the DC Universe. And I have to say, I liked the trailer. I know a lot of people didn't, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to not like or like a trailer. I actually thought it was very Superman-ish. It came across very hopeful and inspiring, which is what Superman should be. I thought David Cornsweet looked great as Clark Kent and as Superman, and also when he was in those different forms, he looked different. He looked like a totally different person with the slick back hair as Superman, and then with the ruffled curly hair as Clark Kent. The movie doesn't give away much from the plot, just that we know Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl, and Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, are going to make appearances in the movie. Apparently, in this film, Lex Luthor, who's played by Nicholas Hoult, he and Superman are aware of each other, but they've never had a confrontation yet. So this movie will surround their first encounter. And I understand people's hesitation for a couple of reasons. Number one, James Gunn is a liar on top of being a perv. If you don't believe me about the perv thing, look at the tweets or X posts, whatever they're called now, that he posted, the ones that got him fired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, later they brought him back to the correct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which shows Disney has no standards or backbone. But anyway, he has lied frequently about this franchise. So, what I would have done if I was James Gunn and stepping in and I just wanted to retool everything, because let's face it, Zack Snyder is a hack and he created a terrible universe. Man of Steel could have been better, but he took all the hope and optimism out of Superman. And that's not even Henry Cavill, who played Superman in that film. That wasn't his fault. Zack Snyder is a terrible writer. He's a terrible director. He has no idea about the characters that he is doing. I'm pretty sure he just read the Wikipedia page for them and said, I can do this, like he did with The Watchmen, and then later with Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And if you actually read his original plans for what was then called the DCEU, they were terrible. He was going to kill off Batman, replace him with a strong female Batgirl, I guess, and he was going to go for from there. It was absolutely a ridiculous story idea. So Gunn comes along, but they have kind of a problem because there are still some movies coming out, right? They've got the sequel to Aquaman, The Flash, Blue Beetle, the Suicide Squad, which was his retooling of Suicide Squad, right? That's what he was doing. So now he was caught up in this, and also Shazam Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, and all these movies didn't do well at the box office. Everyone thought Black Adam would be this huge hit, especially with the massive marketing campaign that Dwayne Johnson put behind it, and it just fizzled out. Now, what James Gunn should have done, and what he originally said he was going to do, was they were going to delay Flash because it's centered on the DC multiverse, and use that to say, okay, well, everything's restarted. But then he said, oh, Peacemaker, which was a spin-off of the Suicide Squad. Oh, well, that's technically canon. I'm bringing back John Cena as Peacemaker, and I'm bringing back other actors and actresses from the DCEU, and I might even bring back Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, not Ben Affleck, though. So from the beginning, he has lied to fans about things. And listen, filmmakers do this all the time. It's not unique to James Gunn. But then he also brought on some pretty terrible people to help him, such as Tom King. And for those of you unfamiliar, Tom King is a jerk. He's a terrible writer. From issue 1 of his run on Batman, I actually thought it wasn't bad. It was just kind of average. And I know I'm a minority in this, but I actually enjoyed the War of Jokes and Riddles. I thought that was at least well written, and I also liked the issue where Batman confronts the Beast after he shot Nightwing. That was a pretty good issue. But then he did the whole thing with Batman and Catwoman getting married, but then Catwoman ditching him at the altar. And then after that, it was all downhill from there. His stories were so terrible and the sales were so poor. He was supposed to do a 100-issue run and he only got to 75. Well, then they allowed him to do a miniseries to finish his story arc, which was not canon, I guess. And he followed not one or two past and present story arcs. He followed 4 storylines in this. It was convoluted and confusing, and he's also kind of mean. He went after a fellow DC worker, an artist, because this artist, and I'm not saying his name because I don't want him to be hassled, he did a variant cover for an indie comics creator, and Tom King didn't like this indie creator, and so he attacked this guy, and this poor guy, his dog had just passed away, and so he's in mourning and trying to get work to cover expenses, and then Tom King lashes out at him, and then he makes up this bizarro story about how he confronted a man in a mask at one of his things during, the illegal house arrest during that unspecified virus of unknown origin lockdown, right? He said, "Oh, I confronted this fan and blah, blah." And then they contacted the venue, and the venue was like, "This incident never happened." It was really silly. So, yeah, I get why people are hesitant. However, a couple of things I feel are nitpicky. Like when the trailer premiered, a lot of people made fun of how Nathan Fillion's hair is as he portrays Guy Gardner. Nathan Fillion should be playing Hal Jordan, but they got a different actor for him, and they got him to be Guy Gardner. I do feel like that was a little insult to the fans that Gunn did. We've been begging for Nathan Fillion to be the live action Hal Jordan, and then he makes him Guy Gardner. Again, Gunn is not a nice person. He's a Hollywood celebrity and he does these things. But a lot of people are complaining about the hairstyle. That's how Guy Gardner's hair looks. I hate to break it to you. Anyone who has read Justice League International knows this. So I don't know why people are frustrated about this. Now, he's had other hairstyles and they could have gone with one that was more modern that didn't look so moppy, but they just did. That doesn't bother me. But one thing I will say is, like as I understand all the criticisms and the mistakes Gunn has made, the lies he's told, the insults he has done, I'm still kind of cautiously optimistic because I do think the trailer looks good. I like Krypto. That was the thing that sold this. Krypto has never appeared in a live action feature film before, and I'm excited to see that. He's a huge part of Superman's lore and how he moves forward. So I'm glad he's going to be on there. I do think maybe he should have just kept it a Superman movie, just had members of the JL maybe just make cameos. That's a creative choice. James Gunn really wants to expand this universe, and I hope he has a plan for it because that was part of the problem with Disney's Star Wars was they didn't really have a plan. But Gunn is actually a decent director. He has done some pretty cool films, and I'm going to, like I said, be cautiously optimistic and approach it with a skeptical but excited eye. Because I do think the actors at least look like the characters. I do think Nicholas Hoult looks a little young to be Lex Luthor, but don't forget, this is supposed to launch the franchise. And I really hope that it pans out, that it is good, that it is exciting, because I do want these comic book films to succeed without wokeness, without identity politics. I want it to move forward. I do want to see Superman save the day. I do want to see him inspiring hope. And yeah, in the trailer, there's that scene where people seem mad at him. I think personally what's going to happen is Lex Luthor is probably going to frame Superman for something, and that's what's going to lead to that. But whatever the case, I do think that the film at least looks good enough based on this trailer, which that's what a trailer is supposed to do. It's supposed to hype you up for the film, right? And I'm going to give it a chance. I'm not going to be Sally Sad Sack about this or Debbie Downer. I'm going to go forward and hope that it is good. And who knows, maybe a new trailer comes out that will change my mind. But this initial trailer, I'm excited and cautiously optimistic about it. So who knows, maybe there are brighter days ahead for a DC film franchise. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment and tell me what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. Head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I've got even more pop culture takes. I've got articles and reviews all related to some of your favorite comic books, movies, anime, and so much more. It's totally free and there's no ads. You just sign up with your email, you get a notification whenever I post a new article, which is daily, and best of all, you can also use the WordPress app if you don't want to sign up with your email. So definitely head on over to studiojakemedia.com for even more. If you want to support the channel, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. You can sign up for a monthly subscription, or you can send my articles tips. And I even have some exclusive articles that are just for the locals community. You can check those out along with short stories that I publish there exclusively. Speaking of stories, I've written books. I've got 4 published right now. I've got the supernatural thriller Cacophony about a group of demons sent to conquer a small town in Texas, but a group of angels stand in their way. I've got my Sword and Sorcerer series, which is the Seven Royals, starting off with All Good Things, and then its sequel, Breaking the Stars. It's about a group of your favorite fairy tales who have to take on a dark army of vampires, orcs, and werewolves that have overrun their kingdoms. They have to work together to stop them, but conflicts are always along the way. The third one, which will complete the Dark Army trilogy, will come out in 2025. Last but not least, we have Blessed Child. It is my latest release. It is about an elf princess who is pregnant with a human child, and this causes her kingdom to go into turmoil, but a knight steps up to protect her. He's disgraced, but he's on the path to redemption. It is about courage under fire. It is life affirming, and you can enjoy it every step of the way. Please pick up one or all 4 of my books. Leave me a 5-star review. They're all available on Amazon. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.